Hello, everybody. Welcome to this course, which is the Vulnerability Management Masterclass How to Create and Mature a Best in Class Vulnerability Management Program. My name is Taimur Jalal, and I will be your instructor for this course. Now, vulnerability management is one of the most foundational concepts of information security, cybersecurity, and it is also, I think, in my opinion, one of the most misunderstood and one of the most ignored aspects of cybersecurity. I have seen so many companies who get this wrong, unfortunately, and they don't realize that a perfectly written, like a perfectly created or written software does not exist, right? Bugs and vulnerabilities are a part of any environment. It doesn't matter how good your security environment is, you will have bugs and security issues there. And dealing with these vulnerabilities is a very, very important part of cybersecurity, right? That you need to have this to create a baseline level of security within your organization. So that's why vulnerability management is so important. And how do, like, sometimes I've seen people get it wrong. So it's like human nature to pay attention to more flashy things, right? Like apts, or like something more like exciting, like anti-malware or artificial intelligence security and all those sort of things, and ignore the things which are more basic in nature, like vulnerability management. So that's the whole point of creating this course. The point of this course is to show you why vulnerability management is so important, and how to create a robust vulnerability management program. Like, what are the key successful components of a vulnerability management program? Like I said, these get neglected sometimes for more like exciting topics like traffic analysis and malware sandboxing and AI security and all that, right? And don't get me wrong, these are all great things, but without a strong grasp of the fundamentals, investing in more advanced tools, it is futile, and you're going to get compromised by a very basic vulnerability. Okay, because you're going to focus all your attention on those things, and you might have the latest firewalls protecting your systems and powerful traffic monitoring devices. It'll be a simple vulnerability which will get you compromised. So that's the point of this course. I'm going to show you about how to create a practical VM program, best practices and case studies, how to mature it. So once you've put in, like the fundamentals, how to improve it and how to mature it, because a vulnerability management program should be looked at as like a living breathing thing. It matures over time, right? And some of the key mistakes to avoid. Okay, because there are some certain mistakes I've seen a lot of companies make, and I want to tell you, I'm going to put all my knowledge I have about vulnerability management in this program to help you. What are the key mistakes you should avoid? So this is what I'm going to be focusing on in this course. Very, very important. What this course is not going to teach you, it's not going to teach you how to hack environment, okay, how to pass a certification, how to use a particular tool like Nessus or Qualys. There are many, many other courses much better than mine on that. No, the point of this course is to give you like practical knowledge on how to implement a vulnerability management program. You can use these principles, apply it to any environment, be it on-prem, be it cloud. You can apply it onto any tool. Okay, you can buy a multi-million dollar vulnerability management program, or you can apply it on a very, very basic, like a open source tool which you can apply. Because like I've said, the tool does not matter if your basics are not right. If your fundamental program aspects are not there, it does not matter what tool you will put in, your vulnerability management program will fail, or it won't even be there. Forget failing, you won't even have it. So this is what I'm going to teach you in this course. So I wanted to be very clear about it right from the start, what this course is about and what this course is not about. So who's this course for? Like, who did I create it for? Well, honestly, the key focus is for cybersecurity professionals. But if you're a CISO, a chief technology officer, chief risk officer, you can benefit from the points in this course also. Okay, if you're a risk management and governance professional who's creating a framework for security risk, this you will benefit. If you're a penetration testing ethical hacker, you will be very, very good at finding vulnerabilities. But how those vulnerabilities come into as part of a larger program, you will find it out here. Because believe it or not, finding vulnerabilities and scanning them and scanning, getting those findings, that's a very small part. It's a very, very small part of a much larger program. And honestly, anybody who's interested in vulnerability management, whether you're starting out or you're maturing, I hope this course will give you something of value. If you already have a vulnerability management program, I'm sure I can show you areas where you can improve it. Either way, value will be added. Okay, so, and the prerequisites for this course, you don't need to be a hardcore techie. A basic knowledge of cybersecurity, of systems, applications, platforms will help. You need to have a desire to learn. I mean, you don't need to be a penetration testing expert or a vulnerability scanning expert. I'm not. I'm not a expert in either of those things, but I have implemented management programs in multiple companies across multiple locations. Okay, so that's the point of this. You don't need to be a hardcore techie. A lot of people think that you need to know penetration testing or Python or scripting. No, nothing like that. You need to understand the fundamentals, and you need to understand how to create a holistic framework. Okay. Okay, and of course, before I start talking about how to do it, like, you should be asking, who am I, and what qualifies me to even talk about this. So, brief introduction about myself. My name is Taimur Ijlal. I'm a multi-award-winning cybersecurity, like, a professional. I don't like calling myself a leader, but okay, it's there. Yeah, but I've been in the industry for around 20 plus years. I'm a speaker, instructor, writer. I'm also a career coach. I've been helping people like break into cybersecurity. I have a YouTube channel called the Cloud Security Guy, in which I talk about things like cloud security, AI risks, and all that. I've written a few books also on AI security, cybersecurity. Like, these are a few of my books. Like I said, which are on AI governance and cybersecurity, zero trust for beginners. Okay, I really like writing and teaching. That's one of my favorite passions, is spreading the knowledge. I'm there on Medium, LinkedIn, YouTube. Please feel free to reach out to me. I love hearing from people who have taken my courses. Any feedback, positive or negative, is always appreciated. So I hope this gives you a good foundation. Now let's start. And in the next lesson, I'm going to talk about the need for vulnerability management. Why is it so important? Okay, why is it so important, and what are the benefits of having a vulnerability management program? So I'll see you in the next lesson. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this lesson, the need for vulnerability management, in which we're going to talk about why vulnerability management is so important, right? What makes it so important? And at its core, like, what is a vulnerability? It's like a weakness or a flaw, right? It can be a system, application, process. And because of that vulnerability, that can be exploited by attackers to potentially, like, breach your environment, your network, your systems. And it can lead to unauthorized data access, data theft, system disruptions, on and on. Like, basically, a very very important thing to tell you is every breach every breach you hear, it starts with a vulnerability. Okay, at the back end, it will always be some vulnerability which got compromised. It doesn't matter which vulnerability, like which data breach headline I put here. At the back end, there will always be a vulnerability. Okay, which is used to then compromise a particular environment. So that's the reason I always say it's so important to focus on vulnerability management, because it's not important to fix all the vulnerabilities, right? Your environment could have potentially hundreds and thousands of vulnerabilities. Where do you focus on? Okay, and how to fix it, because you can't fix every vulnerability, right? What to do in that case? So these are the things I want to talk about. And some of the key mistakes I see people making when it comes to vulnerabilities and vulnerability manage. I want to talk about some of the very, very common mistakes, unfortunately, which still exist to this day, even though cybersecurity has matured since I started, like, since 20 years, it's matured quite a bit. But a few very, very common misconceptions which I still see people making is, what is a vulnerability management, right? First of all, vulnerability management is not a vulnerability scan. This is like a common misconception I see people making. They When I ask them, they say, "Yeah, I run scans every month." Oh, okay, wonderful. What happens after that scan, right? Running a scan is only 10% of vulnerability management. The analysis, the threat modeling, the monitoring, the metrics, the improvement, the governance structure, all that comes also, and that's much more important, because without that, your scan will be just a scan. Nothing will happen because of it. Okay, so that's the difference between vulnerability scan and vulnerability management. Don't make that mistake. Similarly, same thing with penetration testing. They tell me, "Yeah, I'm doing penetration testing also." Okay, what happens after that? Is it part of a larger framework, or is it just you get a report and you email it to somebody to fix it, and it gets fixed after 6 months? You have no idea whether it was fixed or not, and more issues come up later on. Again, right? Very, very important thing to keep on. A security scan and penetration testing, they are not vulnerability management. They form part of it, but they are not vulnerability management. Okay, commercial tools are not vulnerability management. Buying a multi-million very expensive software, right? That is not vulnerability management. You don't need to invest in expensive software to have an effective vulnerability management program. You can be a Fortune 500 with a state of the art tool, but still immature vulnerability management. You could be a small tech company with an open source tool, but with very mature vulnerability management program. And honestly, Microsoft Excel is more than enough to monitor and maintain a vulnerability management program. So don't think you have a state of the art tool. Now you're an expert in vulnerability management. Patch management. Patch management is also not vulnerability management. Okay, it's good you're doing patching, but please, patch management is part of a larger vulnerability management. Are you patching the right things? When you're patching it, are you actually checking whether those patches were properly applied? Are those patches actually fixing the weaknesses? Okay, so again, these are the things which people do not think keep in mind when they're thinking about implementing vulnerability management. That's why it's so important. Okay, so please, these are the misconceptions I want to take away, want you to forget about when you to do this course. So, what is vulnerability management? Simply put, vulnerability management is the process of managing the entire life cycles when you get vulnerabilities to make sure they get fixed. And there are a number of activities, and we'll talk about those. And it can be as complex or simple as you want. Vulnerability management takes a more pragmatic approach, right? Instead of asking how did we apply the patches, did we do a scan, or did we do a penetration test? Vulnerability management asked that given our limited resources, how can we best improve our security posture by addressing the most important vulnerabilities, right? And you look at it from the lens of risk management. And so you look at it from a very holistic perspective. That's why that's why vulnerability management is so important to make you focus on the key issues because you have limited time and resources. Okay, at a high level, it looks like this, right? You identify vulnerabilities, you analyze them, you make recommendations, and then you track to closure. And of course, within this, we'll dive deep and I'll tell you about these things. And there are many, many benefits of vulnerability management, right? Of course, you'll improve your security posture, you'll meet regulations like ISO, NIST, PCI DSS. It protects your reputation from getting compromised, and it makes sure that you are able to continue, and it most importantly, it keeps you up to date with the evolving threat landscape. Okay, as a project of this, I don't want you to just take away the knowledge, just listen to me talking for many, many hours and then forget about it. Please, I want you to create a simple vulnerability management program for your company, implementing the steps I'm highlighting in this course. Okay, once you've finished it, take the lessons I've talked about and implement it within your company and share to me what your feedback is. Okay, I want you to take this knowledge and actually apply it instead of just listening to me. So that wraps up the introduction part of this. I hope you're excited now to learn about vulnerability management. Let's now, in the next lesson, I'm going to talk about the basic concepts of vulnerability management and how they come about. Thank you very much. I hope this you're excited, guys. Let's go into the next lesson, and I'll see you there. Thank you.